Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mariken and this is, what's her name? So I thought for my first official video on here, I know I did an introduction just a few days ago, but as my first official video, I really wanted to put out something special, something that means a lot to me, and that's a video about Record Store Day. So I've been a record collector for, it'll be 10 years this summer. Yeah, I have been participating in Record Store Day for probably 8 or 9 of those 10 years. The first year or so, I was more just kind of getting into the hobby. I was a high schooler that worked at McDonald's. I didn't have a lot of money, so I couldn't put a lot toward records. I wasn't as serious in the community and, in terms of collector's edition pressings and limited this and whatever. I wasn't huge into that. I just kind of was getting into the hobby and experimenting. And I have loved participating in Record Store Day the last several years. It has always been fun. I'm excited to share my list with you guys, and I'm excited to kind of give you some tips and tricks if you've never done Record Store Day before. So I'm going to start off with some tips and tricks first and foremost, explain a little bit about the day because, like I said, maybe you're new to collecting, maybe you don't know. So if you already know this part and you want to skip ahead to my list, I'll put a timestamp here that you can skip ahead to. Those of you who are new to record collecting, or you just want to hear me ramble a little bit about Record Store Day. So first up, Record Store Day was created as a day to get collectors out to their independent record stores. It was a day to bring them business, to bring them money, to encourage people to go shop local, to keep their local record stores open. Over the years, obviously, the intent and purpose is still the same, but the event, I feel like, gets bigger and bigger every year. I feel like there's more record collectors that go every year. There's more people that are getting into vinyl and physical media itself because there's always some cassette or CD stuff that's available too. So first off, Record Store Day is in April. It's typically the third Saturday, but this year it's the second Saturday, which I thought was totally weird. And then there's always a Black Friday Record Store Day as well, which happens obviously on Black Friday in November. Every store kind of does Record Store Day a little bit different, but the premise is pretty much the same. There is a list of records that's put out. I will leave the Record Store Day website down below if you've not checked out the list. That way you can go explore, see what's on the list, see what's coming out that you may be interested in. So my store, they open at 7 a.m. and a line forms probably I think the first person gets there probably around midnight or 1 a.m., which is about the time I'm getting up. We typically get there between 2 and 4, just depending on how many releases we want, how limited they are, things of that nature. We kind of factor that into how early we go. We being me and my husband, Jared. I don't, I probably didn't say that, but my husband, Jared, does go with me. I think it's important to have a friend go with you because it can be kind of intimidating. The first couple of years that I was in line at my local record store, it was a lot of people my parents' age, and they kind of looked, I don't want to say they looked down on me, but they thought I was one of the scalpers that was there just to buy stuff and resell it and make money, or they didn't really think I was really into the hobby. I feel as a girl and a young girl, I was kind of not really included in the scene a little bit. Maybe there was a little snobbery there at first, but now there's more people my age in line. There's a little bit younger of a crowd, and I feel those people have grown to like me because they've seen me there continuously, so maybe they realize it is a hobby and not just a business for me. But yeah, I feel the line has gotten friendlier each year, but basically we wait out in line, doors open at 7, and Matt lets in a set amount of people. It's typically 10, and you get to go in and get your Record Store Day stuff, browse around the shop. There's always some deals or stuff going on, and typically around lunchtime is when the fun starts. They have live music. Sometimes there's food, sometimes there's not. Especially since COVID, there's not really been a lot of food stuff going on. But some stores do it different. I know some that hand out tickets and then you can go home and your tickets have a time on them. So you come back at that time and you get to go in and shop. Some stores, especially I know in bigger cities, for example, Amoeba in Los Angeles, they hand out a physical copy of the list and you mark what you want and they have your bag ready. So all you do is walk up to the counter and pay for it, which I think is pretty cool. it takes the fun away because you don't get to like shop and explore for it. But I feel like it also ensures like if you've been there all night and you're the first person in line and there's only one copy of something, like you can easily get that one copy because you've been there, you're first in line. So I feel like it kind of ensures that a little bit, and I think that's kind of fun. But like I said, I feel like I would miss like digging and trying to find the releases that I'm interested in. So typically we really only go to Mellow Mats. I have bought some things online from the In Groove. Mike has his own YouTube channel, the In Groove. I will leave a link down below, the YouTube channel and the website. He posts his record store day leftovers, and I've been there and bought some of those record store day leftovers before. My list, I kind of go in like terms of priority for me. Like if I really want it, if it's top of my list, I kind of gun for those first. And then like the stuff that's kind of at the bottom of my list, like my maybes, I don't really look as hard for those. I look for my most wanted stuff first. That way I can ensure I get it. Sometimes my store doesn't have it. Sometimes I have to look other places, you know? So there are 2 other local stores in my area that sometimes I go to. So if I'm feeling up to it, we'll go do that on record store day as well. But my number 1 tip is to bring chairs, bring a blanket, bring some hot hands, stay warm. I live in Kentucky, so I mean, some consider it the South, some don't. I consider it part of the South, whatever. But we're kind of in like the middle of the United States, and April is still kind of chilly weather in the morning, so I definitely recommend hot hands and blankets. Try and keep warm because I have definitely been a popsicle on record store days in the past, and it's not very fun. I also recommend bringing snacks, drinks, bring somebody with you. Bring something to do, bring a book, especially if you're going to be waiting in line. Now, if you don't know how your store does record store day, give them a call. They'll tell you. Tell them what you're interested in. They'll try and get more of that release. If they know there's a lot of demand for something, they're going to try and get more of it to meet that demand. So definitely talk to your local record store owners. See how record store day happens there because like I said, every store is different and not every store does it the same. Now that I've got that little spiel out of the way, let's talk about my list, things that I'm interested in picking up for record store day. I have a quite extensive list. I have 14 items, and keep in mind these are maybes and some that I absolutely have to have kind of combined. I'm excited for all of these releases, but like I said, some of them are maybe a little more high priority than others. My husband also has a couple things on his wish list. I'm not going to go over his because I really honestly don't know much about the stuff that he's picked, but I will go into what I have picked. Maybe I can get my husband Jared in here to do like a haul with me. I don't know. He's kind of camera shy. So we'll see how that goes here in a couple weeks, at least as of the time I'm filming this. It may not be a couple weeks by the time this is up. I like to browse the list a couple times and make sure like I get everything on my list that I want like on there, because I feel like sometimes I just get so excited to see the list that I just like scroll through it and I miss stuff. So I kind of like to watch some of these list videos. I like to go through the list several times and really read it before making my video because I don't want to miss anything. I am so afraid of FOMO. Like, I have such FOMO, especially watching like all the hauls after the events happen, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was a release. Oh my god, I didn't know that was this way or whatever. Like, so I try my hardest to stick to my list, but there have been some years where I bought stuff that wasn't originally on my list or on my radar. This first one that I'm actually going to talk about was something that I just discovered the last time I combed through the list. I had missed it. And when I was going through and trying to look at prices and see roughly how much I was going to need to save for this event, I try to budget myself and not spend more than my budget. So it's kind of nice because there's some releases and I'm like, I really want that. And then I see like the price and I'm like, no thanks. So I was going through Bull Moose. I will leave a link to Bull Moose down below. They also sell their record store day leftovers. But I get a lot of my pricing from them because they put everything on their website so you can see like the information there. And I always get my pricing information from them. And it gives me a good idea of roughly how much I'm going to be spending on record. So like I said, the first one I'm going to talk about is one I didn't see until I was on Bull Moose's website. And that is the soundtrack to The Never Ending Story. This is so cool. I'm a big soundtrack junkie, and I have really, really been into collecting soundtracks the last couple of months. I do not know what it is. I mean, I've always enjoyed soundtracks, but more and more lately, I have found myself falling in love with soundtracks. The Neverending Story is a classic, okay? But this is a Record Store Day exclusive release, so that means it's not going to get pressed again. It is specifically for this day. There are a couple different types of releases, which we'll get into. But this is a Record Store Day exclusive. It is a single LP on Starlight vinyl, and it is limited to 2,000 copies. The price on this one isn't too bad. It says $24.97 according to Bull Moose, which I don't think is really bad for a special edition single LP in the market currently. This is one that I would like to have, but if I don't get my hands on it, it's not the end of the world. It's kind of nostalgic and would be fun, but I don't need it. I don't have to have it. So if I don't see this one or I can't get this one online, I'm not going to sweat it too much. I do also have 2 Vince Guaraldi releases that I am really stoked about. I love collecting the Vince Guaraldi, like Peanuts soundtracks and things. They remind me so much of my childhood. My mom is a big fan of the Peanuts, and I grew up watching all the holiday specials, and it's just something special for me. So anytime I see like one of the new holiday specials get pressed on vinyl, I really want to get them. So there are 2 different records. The first one I'm going to talk about is called Jazz Impressions of a Boy Named Charlie Brown Alternate Takes. So this features new and unreleased alternate takes of songs from the original recording sessions. This includes famous tracks like Linus and Lucy, Baseball Theme, the Charlie Brown Theme, and more. I'm kind of reading stuff from the website, so excuse me if I'm looking away a little bit. This is a Record Store Day exclusive. It's a single LP on sky blue vinyl. And it is limited to 3,000 copies. And this one also retails for $25.97. Again, I think that's a pretty reasonable price for the Charlie Brown records. I like collecting them. People may find them gimmicky, but I think they're fun. The second Vince Guaraldi one that they're releasing is selections from It's the Easter Beagle Charlie Brown original soundtrack recording. I think there is actually like a full soundtrack out there, which I would like to hunt down at some point, but this one is really cool, and I want this one because it is a 10-inch egg-shaped vinyl, and I just think that's so cool. I love having cool pieces like this. This is the prime example of why I love Record Store Day. So it's actually on a mystery color. You can get a purple, blue, pink, yellow, or green pressing, and you don't know which color pressing you get until you open it, which I also think is super cool. They did that one year with some Alice Cooper releases, and I loved it. I thought it was so fun because you didn't know what color it was till you opened it. But this is a Record Store Day exclusive, limited to 4,300 copies, so I don't know. I'm going to assume that's total. I don't know if one color variant is more exclusive than the other, like if they pressed more pink than they did yellow, or if they kind of just pressed equal amounts of the same color. It didn't really specify, so I don't know really how that is. Like, I know with the Alice Cooper one, like there were certain colors that they made more limited, and like some had signed like art cards in them and some didn't, so I don't know how the numbers work with the colors on this specific release, but this features 8 tracks from the 1974 soundtrack. It's the Easter Beagle Charlie Brown. So again, like I said, I think that there's like a full length soundtrack that I would like to get as well. This is just going to be a cool collector's piece for me. Another release that I have been very excited about in the past couple years are the Jazz Dispensary releases. I always look for these. I love to look at like the themes, the aesthetics of them. I love to really dig into these. I was not a big jazz fan until my friends and I went on a trip to New Orleans. I really started to dig into jazz as a genre before we went, and then of course going there and experiencing all of like the jazz culture was just so fun, and I loved it. Definitely got more into jazz over the past few years, and so these Jazz Dispensary releases have been really fun because I get to have a compilation of all these different artists and get to listen to artists I may have never reached out to and branched out to before, so I think that's really fun. The Jazz Dispensary releases are always Record Store Day exclusives. It's a single LP on midnight blue vinyl, and it is limited to 4,000 copies. The theme this year is night lights, and I'm going to read the description here to you guys. It says, if Saturday night is the loneliest night of the week, Moodsville is your destination. Escape the noise of the city and take in Night Lights, a new compilation from Jazz Dispensary collecting mellow, forlorn, and hauntingly beautiful tunes from Yusef Lateef, Coleman Hawkins, Kenny Burrell, Gene Ammons, and more. I am just really excited about this one. I think it'll be really fun, and it's $27.97 retail, which I think is about typical for these Jazz Dispensary releases. Next up, this one I won't be upset if I don't get, but I also think it would be a really cool piece. It is Francois Hardy in Vogue, the best of from 1962 to 1967. Francois Hardy is a French singer. I learned about her in my French class in high school, and I really like her music. I don't listen to like French music a lot, but she's one that I like, and it's something different to have in my collection. So I was pretty excited because I don't have any of her music in my collection currently, so to have like a greatest hits compilation, I feel like would be really awesome. This is a double LP on red vinyl, and this is a Record Store Day first release. So this is a different type of release that I was talking about. So Record Store Day first means that Record Store Day is pressing it first, probably some limited color variant or whatever, but it's going to be repressed. It's going to be reissued at some point. Probably standard black, maybe a different colored variation, whatever that may be. So this one, like I said, I'm not going to be terribly upset if I don't get this one. While I think it's very cool, I do know that it's probably going to be coming in the future. Like I said, probably a standard black variant, but it would be cool to have it on the red vinyl. And this one is going to retail for $44.97. It's a double LP, $45. I don't really feel like is bad, especially because it's limited edition. It's Record Store Day. Next up, let's talk about our Record Store Day ambassador, Post Malone. I have never really gotten into Post Malone's music until last year. He released his album F1 Trillion. And I really loved Post Malone doing country music. I thought it was super fun. Is it like true like outlaw classic country music? No, by any means, but it was so fun, and I loved a lot of the collaborations he did. Collaborated with my girl Lainey Wilson, and that was one of my favorites. I mean, he got Dolly Parton on there. Like, come on, okay? I've always loved Post Malone as a person. I think he is a very genuine person. I think he loves to give back, and I just see a lot of good in him as a person. So I have always really wanted to dive into his music, but what I've heard on the radio just hasn't been for me. So now that I like F1 Trillion, I've definitely been more intrigued in going back and listening to some of his earlier stuff. But the reason I'm really interested in his Record Store Day release, I mean, number one, he's Record Store Day ambassador, which is awesome. But number two, his release is called Post Malone, A Tribute to Nirvana. Hello, if you know me, you know I love Nirvana. I was huge in my grunge era in middle school and high school. Nirvana is still one of my favorite bands, and I'm really excited. I know that I knew he did a tribute to Nirvana, but I've not listened to it. I could not tell you a thing about it. But I will tell you a little bit from the website. It's taken from Post Malone's live stream tribute to Nirvana that took place April 24th, 2020. It features Blink-182's Travis Barker on the drums, guitarist Nick Mack, and bassist Brian Lee. So for that, I'm really excited because I think he would do a really good job covering Nirvana. Like, after listening to his country stuff, I feel like he would also have the good like voice and stuff for the grunge music. So I'm really excited about that one. This one is obviously a Record Store Day exclusive, and it is on yellow vinyl, and it is limited to 17,000 copies. They always press several of the Record Store Day ambassadors releases because they're typically very popular. So I feel like this one, even though there's a large quantity, I feel like it's going to be hard to get because there are so many hardcore Post Malone fans. So I really would like this one. It also is a little expensive for a single LP. It's retailing for $34.97. This one, it's going to hurt me to say this, but because of the price, and if I don't really see a copy of it, I'll probably pass on it. I would love to have it just because I'm a big Nirvana fan and I would love to see like what he does as tribute to them, like how he styles their music. Like I would like to see him do it. That price is pretty steep. Next up, we have the Veronica's debut album, The Secret Life of. And I'm really excited about this. Guys, can you believe that this album is celebrating its 20th anniversary? I, for one, cannot. That's crazy to me. But this features the hits Forever and Everything I'm Not. I really love this album. It's one that I would love to get, but I don't feel like there's going to be a lot of love for the Veronicas in my area. They are very electronic pop from, you know, the early 2000s. They're an Australian duo, so I don't know. I'm really excited for this release. I hope I can get a copy. It is just a single LP on ultra clear vinyl, and it is a Record Store Day exclusive that's limited to 2,000 copies. So this one's probably going to be a little harder to find. Price point is pretty okay, $24.97. One of my most anticipated releases is Wallow's More EP. So it actually just released like streaming. But the first physical press is going to be for Record Store Day. This is a Record Store Day first, but I do really want this because I'm a huge Wallows fan. I have a big Wallows collection. I'm not necessarily like a variant collector, but I kind of am at the same time. I have literally loved Wallows since their first single, Pleaser. Like, that's when I found Wallows, and now they're so big, and I love that for them. I love it so much. I love the love that they get, but that means that their stuff is hard to find sometimes. So I had a super hard time finding the 5th anniversary pressing of their debut album. My friend Emma ended up coming in clutch and getting the last one at her local record store. So fingers crossed I can find the More EP. Like I said, it is a Record Store Day first. It's on evergreen and white smash vinyl. And it did not tell me how many copies this was going to be limited to, so that kind of makes me a little worried. It is going to be pressed on LP and CD. I know for sure I really want the LP. I may or may not get the CD. I'm not a big, like, avid CD collector. I have CDs. Like I said, I know for sure I want to get the LP. CD is a possibility. And I did not look at the CD price, but it's probably like 15 or 20 bucks, something like that. If I look for the price, I'll put it here. But the price of the vinyl is $21.97. Even though it is an EP, I feel like that's still like a very reasonable price for a single LP. Next up, this one is kind of a odd choice, but I'm here for it. Spy Boy by Emmylou Harris. I'm a big Emmylou fan. I have a lot of her records in my collection. Not all of them, because not all of them are pressed on vinyl and not all of them are easy to find. But this is one I'm lacking and one that I would love to add to the collection. It is going to be packaged in a gatefold. It's got a exclusive insert with written reflections from Emmylou Harris and Buddy Miller. And the pressing includes the original 14-song track list, as well as 5 previously unreleased bonus tracks. So really excited for that. It is going to be a double LP. This one is also a Record Store Day first. It's limited to 1,500 copies. If I don't get this one, it's not the end of the world. I guess I can wait till they press it again, but I would really love to have this, like, as soon as possible. This one does not specify if it's on colored vinyl, so typically that means it's standard black, and it retails for $34.97, which I feel like is a steal for a double LP nowadays, because double LPs can get pretty expensive. So if you know me, you know I love Joni Mitchell. She's my girl. I get all these Record Store Day Joni Mitchell archives releases. I buy all the regular archives releases. Anytime Joni releases anything, I'm on it like flies on stink, okay? Like, I love Joni. And there is a Joni Live 1976 triple LP. Have to have it. This is a Record Store Day exclusive. There are going to be 3,600 copies of these, which I feel like is pretty limited. Her releases typically are. If I don't get this, I literally will self-implode, okay? I love her. This includes live performances from around the country, with her performances with LA Express on her headlining tour from 1976. So this one is a pretty penny. It's retailing for $59.97. but it also is a triple LP, so I'm not mad about it. I'm sure there's going to be photos and gatefolds. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff included in this because, like, the packaging for the Joni releases are always amazing. There's always so many pictures from that era, and the records themselves just sound fantastic. So I'm sure that this is not going to disappoint by any means. Another favorite for me, Elton John, Sir Elton. I was so incredibly blessed to see Elton John in concert on his farewell tour. My husband and I went. I literally cried the entire time. I was just tears streaming down my face. It was the first time I ever got to see Elton and the last all in one, and it was just such a memorable night. But this is a live record too, which is really cool. This is live from the Rainbow Theater with Ray Cooper. So yeah, obviously it's just live performances from the Rainbow Theater. Nothing much to really explain there, but this is actually going to be just a single LP. It's a record store day first, limited to 5,000 copies. Again, there wasn't really any information on the color, so I'm going to assume standard black. This one retails for $29.97, which again, I think that's a little steep for a single LP, but it's Sir Elton John, so... Also, he's coming out with a collab album with Brandi Carlile this year. I've never really listened to Brandi Carlile, but, like, I'm intrigued. Another one of my faves, you guys probably know this is coming, Patsy Cline. It's called Imagine That, The Lost Recordings, 1954 to 1963. Hello, I'm all over that. My grandmother is a big Patsy Cline fan, and I listened to her music a lot as a kid growing up, so her music is just very special to me, very nostalgic. This one is a 2LP set. It's a record store day first, and it is limited to 2,550 copies. No pressing information, so again, I'm going to assume standard black vinyl, but essentially this is unreleased performances from Patsy Cline. Some of these have been apparently released on bootleg before, but none of these tracks have been an official collection, official pressing. So this is for the pressed on vinyl for the first time, and it is a limited and numbered 2LP set pressed on 180 gram vinyl. I really like the fact that it's numbered. I don't have very many like numbered pressings like in my collection, so I'm really excited for that. It is retailing for $48.97. I think that's a little steep for a 2LP, but again, I'm willing to do it for Miss Patsy. Okay, a favorite band that is actually local to me is Blackstone Cherry, and you guys, I love these guys. They actually have a release that is going to be on vinyl and CD. I would like the vinyl version. My husband really wants the CD version. He's more of a CD person. His car actually still has a CD player, so he can play them on his way to work, where mine doesn't have a CD player, and if I'm at home, I'm in my music room playing my vinyl. So we will probably end up getting the LP and CD of this, but this is Blackstone Cherry's RSD album. The band really likes it, and I'm really excited for it. So this has B-sides, covers, live tracks, and previously unreleased songs from the band's expansive discography. I'm excited. I have everything they've pressed on vinyl. The only album they've not pressed on vinyl is Magic Mountain, and Blackstone Cherry, please get on that because I would love to complete my collection on vinyl, okay? So I'm super stoked for this release. The LP is a record store day first, limited to 750 copies, and it's on this really gorgeous blue splatter vinyl, and retails for $29.97, and yes, it is so worth that for me. Now, the CD, I do have the CD information because Jared really wanted the CD. It is also a record store day first. It is limited to 200 copies, and it retails for $15.97. You best believe we're going to be gunning for the Blackstone Cherry, because I think that is the most limited thing on mine and my husband's list are the Blackstone Cherry releases. So, and finally, I know you guys have been waiting for it. Those of you who know me know my favorite band is Queen. You have been waiting for me to mention the Queen release. There is a Queen release. Get excited. There have been a few Queen releases on record store days past, but I always get so excited when I see one. They're not on every record store day like the Grateful Dead or, some of your bands like that, but like, I I'm so excited to see Queen release. So this is the Delane Lee Demos. It is a LP Record Store Day exclusive, limited to 5,000 copies, and this features all 5 of Queen's early demos. This is the 2024 mix. They did this big, like, remix of their debut album, which I don't really want to talk about that right now. Love it and also hate it all at the same time. I really wanted Queen 1 to get the attention it deserved, the release it deserved. I got it, but at the same time I didn't get it. This is included in some of that stuff, but I think it would be kind of cool to have this, like, on its own. I'm also just a sucker for Queen, and I have to have it because it's Queen. So, like I said, this is limited to 5,000 copies. It doesn't specify a color, probably just standard black, and it is also $29.97. And again, that's a little expensive, but will I pay for it? Yes, I most certainly will. That is all that I had to share with you guys for today. For Record Store Day goodness, I know I rambled a lot about what Record Store Day is and how my store does it. I also rambled a lot about these releases. I feel like I will be doing a haul. I don't know if I will get it up on Saturday the 12th or not. That's gonna be a lot, okay? So I don't want to stress myself out, but I will be getting a haul video up at some point after Record Store Day to let you know what I did get. In the comments below, let me know what you are really excited for Record Store Day. If you have a video, feel free to link it. I would love to go and check that out. I hope you all are able to get everything you're looking for. I hope I am too. I hope you have a great Record Store Day, and I can't wait to chat with you guys after the day is over and talk about all of my new music finds. So until next time, keep on grooving.